You're listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. What up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders Podcast. I'm your boy, Al Mega. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with me today as we talk to this gentleman right here. Yo, he is killing it. My man is an entrepreneur. He's a podcaster. He's a best-selling author. He's a speaker. He is here to fire your ass up today, man. Let me introduce the one, the only Daniel B.L.U.E. What up, mi gente? How you doing today?
What's up, brother? What's up, man? I appreciate the intro. I feel like I'm ready to come out the boxing ring, especially when you called me Daniel Azul.
Yeah, Daniel Azul, blue, kiddo. Let's do it, man. Blue, what a wonderful color, man. It's peaceful, it's joy, it's love, and we need that shit today more than ever.
Amen.
Daniel, thank you for taking some time out of your day today to chit chat with us, the Comic Crusaders, and share in your entrepreneurial journey and that fire, that gasoline you throw onto other entrepreneurs to keep building that flame, bro. You're firing up the world, energizing people with passion and love and making them believe in themselves. So I need to get into origin stories, brother, because you are a superhero in that effect. So with that, what is the origin story of Daniel B.L.U.E? Where you from, kiddo? Originally?
Yeah, I grew up in Oceanside, California.
Okay. And what's the heritage?
I'm Mexican and Irish.
Man. That means that you're drinking me under the table any day, apparently.
Some of that Irish whiskey and tequila, huh?
That Modelo, bro. I love that beer.
Oh, yeah. Michelada?
Dios mío. Yeah, you talking, kiddo. I love it, brother. So, all right. So, growing up in Cali, bro, Mexican parents. I mean, were you there all your life? You still there to this day?
Yeah, I'm in Vegas right now. So,
Vegas,
not too far. Yeah, man, I grew up in, beach town, Oceanside, California, and just had a normal childhood growing up, middle of the road. Not a whole lot of money, but it's not like we were, broke. Dirt poor. I don't have, one of those stories. So just
we had food, but we have food on our tummies and a roof over our head, kiddo. Right? That's all you need.
A lot of bean burritos and eggs for breakfast, and
those are good, bro. I mean, I don't know about your classmates when you gotta pass gas, but that's some good food.
I used to go to my friend's house in the neighborhood to go eat corn dogs and bagel bites because my dad he wouldn't let me eat McDonald's or processed food. He'd be like, "Ay, puro química," so I just had to eat, food that was made on the stove. So
well, he ain't lying though. I'll give him that. He ain't lying. It is chemical. Because I mean, have you seen that pink sludge that makes the burgers? After I saw that, I said, damn. Please, if I don't see you putting up a green ground meat patty together, I'm not eating. Sorry, folks, I can't be vegan just yet. My daughter's trying to convert me. I just can't do it yet. I can't. You making me eat fake blood. I can't do it yet.
No.
I'd rather eat the blood. It's protein. It's all right. So growing up, man, what was that like? You're saying, you didn't have the best, but I mean, obviously you've grown up with an entrepreneurial spirit based on, your life achievements. Now, I mean, was that inspired early on based on the situation you were in?
Yeah, man, I don't have a cool Gary Vee story where, I was an entrepreneur out the womb. It's not like I was hustling and selling basketball.
We're Latinos. We always got to work 10 times harder, brother.
It wasn't something that I thought about, growing up, being a business owner, being an entrepreneur. It really just came out of necessity. My parents got divorced when I was 12. My dad moved to Mexico. And
he left. He said pa fuera Estados Unidos, huh?
Yeah. So then at that point, it's just my mom and I, and single mom raising a kid.
Salute to your mom, yo. God bless.
Amen. Single moms. I don't know how they do it. If you're one listening right now, you're the real MVP. That's
they're amazing. My pop didn't leave us, but you know how it is with males and Latino families. It's always this drama, right? So, my mama was my papa and my daddy, even though I had my daddy there. You feel me? Because, he wasn't one of those cats, And unfortunately, unless you're Latino, I don't know if you understand, what we go through. Let's maybe others go through this. I don't know. We need to talk about
Yeah.
this.
It's that's very true. It's so important to have, stability in the household, right? I think
Yes.
that's the big issue that we have in this country is just, a lot of the family principles, aren't there, whether it's a
Shot out
mom.
the window, kiddo.
Yeah, man. Like you got to have stability and respect and structure and consistency in the
Yes.
household. And when that doesn't happen, it's really hard for kids to have a shot at success.
Was that easy for you then, after 12 years old, with daddy not being home, to have that consistency, or were you more of a level-headed kid growing up?
No, man, that's when I started going downhill. I was
Oh,
really tight. I was really tight with my dad. So when he left and didn't come back, I was really, really hurt. Just
oh,
not
I'm
knowing why
sorry.
he left and why he didn't come back. And so my mom really became a dad and a mom. All in
Wow.
one. And California's high cost of living. She's working 50, 60 hours a week, and I'm unsupervised. And
Mhm.
because I was trying to kind of replace the feeling of my dad being gone, I went and hung out with other people that I looked up as role models, and I started hanging out with the wrong people. So I started just ditching
You're in Cali, so I'm pretty sure. What pueblo again was that in Cali?
Oceanside. So it's San Diego County.
Oh, all right. So yeah, that San Diego though had its tough corners of the hood for sure. I mean, especially again as a Latino, and over there, man, that life is different than I grew up in New York.
Yeah,
So
yeah, man. Like
we didn't get gang life. We had gang life, but it's not serious like it is where you are. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
man, and you just do things to fit in, right? If one
Yeah.
group of people are ditching school, you want to fit in, right?
Let's do
So
it. Yeah, I
if,
know.
if they're drinking, you're gonna start drinking, right?
Let me
So
get that OE, that crazy horse back in the day, right?
man, I remember one time I had a Mickey's.
Oh my God.
Man, I was 16, and I actually had two of them the night before, and my mom worked all
Oh,
night. And I remember I woke up in the morning. I was supposed to mow the lawn, and I woke up in the morning to her waking me up, and she started getting so mad at me because all the Mickeys were there. And I just remember waking
oh.
up, and I was sweating, man. Like I
Yeah,
could
you were
smell the
sick.
Mickey- I could smell the Mickeys, man. I'm like hungover, and she's just mad at me because I didn't mow the lawn like I should have. So
My
just
brother, I did that too. It was the country club, double deuces. And I remember one day getting upstairs and I had one too many. And all of a sudden, I start throwing up in the middle of the night. So she gets up. What's wrong with you? I said, "Oh, I must have ate bad food." He goes, "Bad food, my ass. You don't think I smell that?"
gave it away, man. Gave it away.
Yeah,
So
us kids, we're stupid, and we afraid of mommy because mom, Latina moms don't play around. So
no,
they pull out the chancla, the broomstick, whatever it is to take you
oh
down.
yeah, no, they will get you. They definitely will get you.
All right. So how was that journey then? So here you are growing up, 12, no, papi, mommy's doing, the double duties. You're, unsupervised, hanging out with the wrong crowd. I mean, what was that life turning point that you said, I can't do this no more?
It actually propelled into something worse.
I
I
really did.
stumbled into graduating high school. Like I just barely graduated.
Yeah.
I'm blessed to where like I was able to just pass high school just based off of just taking tests, but I stopped showing up. So because I just ditched, I
Oh,
didn't pass
wow.
high school with great grades, but I still got to the finish line. And then I'm 18 years old and I'm still trying to find myself, right? When you're 18, you're still trying to figure out who you want to be and what you're about. And because I still held on to some of my past, I ended up just kind of getting into some worse things. I ended up getting
Mm.
addicted to Oxycontin.
Oh, wow.
Actually ended up having a daughter at 19 years old. And, that was definitely what got me straight is having a kid, because basically I was a kid that had a kid. And
Mm.
having a kid, you don't get a manual on what to do, right? They don't give you a playbook. You got to figure it out.
Because
And
you're kid yourself, and you're still experiencing kidhood with your own mama, if you will.
yeah, for sure. And I
Wow.
just knew in my heart of hearts, I didn't want to repeat the cycle. I didn't want to do, what my dad did to me, to my daughter. Right. So, that definitely was a motivation to finally clean up my act. I've been clean from pills for over 10 years now.
God bless, kiddo.
Yeah, I appreciate that, brother. There's a lot of people out there struggling right now with addiction,
Many.
whether
I
it's
mean, right now, because of COVID too, there's a lot of depression, mental health issues that people are going through, and some of these people lead to things like that. in order to try and deal with what's happening. I'm glad that you are okay. Past 10 years, that's a beautiful thing. And how did you conquer that? I mean, is it still an everyday battle, or is it, thank the grace of God and your family being there for you?
Yeah, man, it's it's definitely hard the first few years. I mean, the first few months when you stop doing a drug like that, you withdraw, right? Like your body physically needs it. You get sick when you don't take it, right? So I had to get past that. And then the first year or two, it's a mental thing, right? Like you have a bad day, so then you just want to go and mask that pain by, doing that, that drug, right? So once I was able to get past that for a few years, it's something that I kind of forget about. I never crave it anymore. I mean, it's been really
Beautiful.
since November 2009 since I've done it. But it's something that when I say my prayers, I'm grateful for it because it taught me how to deal with adversity, right? And I'm not special. It's not like I'm the only one that had their dad leave or dealt with divorce or had a kid early or overcame drugs. Like we all deal with something, and it's just a matter of how you respond. Bad things happen to good people. Bad things happen to bad people. Bad things happen no matter what, and how are you going to deal with it is really what is the separator.
All right, so here you are. You doing all this. You recovering. When did you wake up and say, "Okay, I need to do something better with my life"?
It was November 2009.
Wow, he
My daughter was
remembers the day.
Yeah,
I
man. My
love it.
daughter was 6 months old. It was Thanksgiving, and I was in the car, and I was at a point where I wasn't able to score. It was Thanksgiving Day. My mom was at my house with my daughter making a turkey. I told her a BS lie. My mom, like, "Hey, I'm gonna go grab a Red Bull," but I was really trying to go, get my fix.
A
So I was
different,
making
a different Red Bull.
exactly right. And called a few people. No one was picking up, so it got to a point
Thank
where I
God they didn't.
realized, yeah, I mean, these people I was trying to score from, they were having Thanksgiving dinner. Imagine that. They weren't trying to pick up my phone call.
They actually cared about spending time as opposed to selling.
Exactly. So it got to a point after a few hours of missing, and
Wow.
swinging for the
Wait a
fences. And
minute. You left your family for several hours during that
oh
day
yeah,
too?
yeah,
Oh
man. Like
wow.
when you
We're
need to get it,
serious.
you're gonna get it, right? Like you don't care about
Wow.
anyone else but getting
I've
that
dealt with that
transaction.
within my family, so I get it. The pain, the heartache. I mean, to see, I don't know how your mama reacted, but to see how my mama reacted to what was going on, not with me, but things were happening that I wish I didn't have to see, but I
Yeah,
got to see, and now I understand.
yeah, man. It's really sad reading. I'll pick up the newspaper and I'll see that Johnson and Johnson just settled $1 billion lawsuit with the government because they were selling a bunch of OxyContin and people died. Right now, the thing right now that's a heartbreaker is fentanyl. Right, like
Oh
fentanyl
yes,
is this crazy drug that literally would just kill you within 30 minutes of taking it. It's a real life. Right now, I think most people listening to the show, they either themselves have dealt with addiction, pills, or they know someone in their family, their friends.
well,
So it's a pandemic right there in itself. You know what I
it
mean?
is. This is the importance of people, please being open and speaking to people they respect or love and sharing. Because again, we're here for you, people. Anyone that's going through any type of mental health issues, please reach out to your family, to your friends. Even DM my ass, even if you don't know me. I got you. I mean, for real. I know this is serious. We've been dealing with this a lot recently. There's been such an uptick in young people taking their lives. I mean, so I'm happy that you're here. You turned around your life, and you're here talking about pillars and 5 things. So before we continue and get into what you really started doing after the fact and how you turned around and started helping entrepreneurial people, I want to show this video you sent me called the 5 things. But when I listened to that, I was like, damn, bro, homie is absolutely on the money. I mean, this is love, it's knowledge, but it's real. Because again, many of us need things like this, no matter what. Even when you think you're the strongest, you're not. So check this out. There's an awesome video by Daniel, the 5 things.
My name is Daniel B.L.U.E. I'm the owner of Quest Education. Here are the 5 things you need to have in order to successfully ride the highs and lows of being an entrepreneur. Number 1, strong mental health. The lows that you experience as an entrepreneur are going to be very, very low. You might question what you're even doing. You might think about giving up. That's why it's really important to make sure that your mental health is very, very strong. What I mean by that, are you getting enough sleep? Do you have good nutrition? Are you exercising, getting those endorphins going? Because you're going to be tested. Your will be tested, and you
Yes,
are
it
going to
will.
have to decide, can you withstand the punches that being a business owner is going to give you? And if you can have a really strong mindset and be resilient, you're going to be able to withstand those punches and experience the lows, but still keep moving forward. Number 2, do you have healthy relationships? Last year, COVID affected all of us out here in Las Vegas. Our employees had to work remote. We went from
Yes.
working together in the same office for many years, and all of a sudden we had to work remote. We never experienced that before. That tested our business, our cash flow, our culture. It tested a lot of us. And I know if I did not have a healthy relationship with my wife, my daughter, my family, my friends, I just know that it would have been a lot harder to go into the office, work from home, still
Truth.
leading a company if I had fractured relationships at home. So if you can
Mm.
avoid the drama and have very strong, solid relationships on the home front, your personal home life can bleed into your business life. If there's a
Facts.
lot of drama, a lot of negativity, protect
Facts.
your home, make sure you have a good home life. That way you can be ultra focused on the business side of things and get the results that you need to have. Number 3, strong company culture.
Yes.
Having a strong company culture
I love
starts with
my
the core values.
Crusaders.
The core values that you instill within your organization will be tested. The culture on the highs and the lows of you being an entrepreneur are super important to maintain, because on the highs, when business is going well, people might start cutting corners. They might skip steps.
Mm-hmm.
Is your culture a culture that's going to hold each other accountable? Are they going to be able to push each other to continue to grow and perform and maintain that high level? On the low end, maybe the business is struggling. They're experiencing growing pains. They're having adversity hit them right in the
Oof.
face. Is that culture still going to remain intact and strong to persevere and get past these temporary challenges? The culture is going to make or break your business, and you have to make sure that it's
Yes.
very strong. Number 4, who's in your circle?
Mm.
People within your circle, are they performing at a higher level personally, financially, business wise? Or are you the most successful person in your circle? If you're the most successful person in your group, you're in the wrong circle. Because if you
Whoa.
can surround yourself with winners,
Facts.
people that are
Be the
performing at a
stupidest
higher
person
level
in the
than you
room.
are, that's going to help you during the highs and lows of you being an entrepreneur. Because when you're experiencing those lows and you're trying to work through a challenge, how nice would it be to be able to lean on someone
Mm.
that already is experiencing or has experienced what you've gone through? They already have the wisdom, or they can give you advice that can immediately help you. On the
Truth.
flip side, maybe you're experiencing the highs of being an entrepreneur. You're tasting success. Naturally, you're going to get complacent. You're going to want to settle. But if
Don't
you're
get lazy.
surrounding yourself with winners, people that are performing at a much higher level, they're going to force you to grow. They're going to force you to level up to make sure that you're not settling and you still are moving forward at a high level. Number 5, have a long term plan. Know very clearly where you
Mm.
want to take your business, how many clients you want to help, how many employees you want. Being able to be super detailed in your long term plan within your business is going to serve you well when you experience the lows and the highs of being an entrepreneur. Because those lows, those are going to be lows for a reason. You're going to think about giving up, you're going to question what you're doing, but you always
Yes.
can revert back to your plan, your roadmap, getting from point A to point B, and trusting the process. When you're experiencing those highs and there's a level of success, it's okay to pat yourself on the back and feel good about yourself
Yes.
momentarily, but you can revert back to that long term plan and know that there's still room to improve and there's still roads that you need to
Celebrate
travel
your
to
wins.
get from
Okay.
point A to point B.
Look at that. 5 easy points, folks. It's the real truth. And we're gonna get into how Daniel came up with these amazing points. So talk about that, yo. How did you come up with the 5 points?
Man, just speaking
And,
my
that's,
truth.
and before of anything, wonderful video. You get me. I got fired up when I saw this. The first time, I still feel fired up because you're talking so much truth, team, value, symbiotic relationships within the team, kind of, you know what I mean? That is key points of success. How did you come up with all this, kiddo?
Man, just it's my truth. Is what I live, what I've lived through, what I live by, what I see, what I experience. I think that's why it's really easy to, try to mimic people and copy people, right? I think a lot of, maybe you're listening to this right now and you're a content creator, and you are looking at other people and you're like, man, they're killing it. Like I'm not killing it. Like, let me just copy what they're doing. Like that might work, but like just if you're just you, like you are only you, right? Like there's only one of you in this universe. It kind of trips me out sometimes when I think about like, man, like the fact that you're alive right now is a miracle. Like your dad and your mom had to get together. They had to do what they had to do.
And you had to swim.
Yeah, man, like scientifically, like for that to happen.
And you know
like,
what's crazy, Daniel? I don't know how to swim, but somehow I swam into life, right?
That's why I do believe, in a creator, a God, however you want to label it.
Yeah. There's a greater being, something else above everything that we do. There's a greater energy to everything we do.
For sure. That's my belief. So, the reason I bring that up is it's just really easy to create content and say what you say when you're just being honest and not trying to mimic other people. Sure, you can, take the template and kind of take a few things, but like when you just speak your truth, it's just really easy. And, that was an article that I was asked to write that got published. I think it was Thrive Magazine. And
wait a minute. Look at you. He's jumping across. Wait a minute. So talk about this. All this stuff you've gone through. Then you started building this. I mean, how did these people even know to reach out to you? I mean, what were you doing?
It's the long game, man. It's being committed to a personal brand, right? So like, let's just say right now you're committed to losing weight, or you're committed to gaining muscle. Like, dude, that's going to take a long time, right? Like, I don't care if you hire a coach or if you take, a pill, like it's going to take a long time, right?
Arnold wasn't Arnold overnight.
Yeah, man. So like a personal brand is going to take time, I was just committed on building a personal brand that involved a lot of different things. Like, just like if you want to lose weight, you not only do you have to exercise, but you have to get good sleep, you got to eat nutritious. You got to eat good food. Same thing with the personal brand. Like I wrote a book, post pretty consistently on social media.
How did you learn to write a book?
What's that? I'm sorry.
How did you learn to even put a book together? And why did you even want to do a book the first time around?
One thing that I chose to do, I made a lot of mistakes, growing up. I shared some of those mistakes that I made. One mistake.
And how old were you when you took these steps too? I want people to know that age it doesn't matter what age you are. Sometimes you got, you can start later in life. You can start early in life. When did you take that initial step too? How old were you?
Can you be a bit more specific? Like what step specifically? My first mistake?
Your first mistake, how old were you? And then when you first took the entrepreneurial step, how old were you? And then when you first wrote your first book, well, how old were you?
Yeah, my
what
book.
Was that progression?
Yeah, my book came out last year, and I was fortunate enough to get a bestseller on Amazon.
What, during COVID, why you built your own first book, Daniel? I give you credit, and that takes cojones, hermano.
I appreciate that, man. I do really, I'm grateful for that, and grateful for the people that help, support my book. But I'm new in business. My business is 3 years old. I started.
Baby.
Yes, I started the business because, I really felt like, man, I've been able to be a high performing employee for a number of years. I've got the sales craft down pretty well. Like I just need to hire some other people and build a team to, build something great. I think I can do this. And, that's what entrepreneurship is about, is just taking a risk and not being certain on what you're doing, but just betting on yourself. Right. And if you're worried about making the leap and starting a business, you can always go back and do what you did before, right? Like I knew if my business failed, I could just go and get another job somewhere, right? Not that I thought about that, because I really literally burned the boats and I went all in on my business.
Hey, brother, it's all or nothing sometimes, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, one of the mistakes that I made, when I was, younger, I made $90,000 my first year in sales at 18 years old, and I never
Wait,
made that
at
kind of money before.
18, you made 90 racks, bro? At 18? That's
And
unheard of. And what
that
year was
was
this?
like $1 million to me, man. We never, I never seen that kind of money before.
What
So,
era was this?
and this is 08, 07.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, for a young man, hell yeah, that's some good paper. You're
Yeah,
like, what?
man. And I made a really bad decision. I bought a house right before the market crashed in 08, making decent money. I'm like, let's buy a house. Bought a house. We know how that ended up because the market took a crap and I ended up losing my house. But I also bought a
Oh
Range Rover.
shit, you lost it. So wait, so
Mhm.
what lasted longer, the Range Rover or the house?
They all came crumbling down at the same time.
Oh
At this
shit.
at this moment, I'm still using Oxycontin. I was addicted to drugs between 18 and 20 years old. I was addicted to
Oh
Oxycontin.
wow.
So because I was spending so much money and not making wise decisions, on top of that, I bought a house and I just got in over my head, right? I just was spending more than what I was making. And the reason I tell this story is because I learned that, okay, I don't need to have the nicest things. Like I'm playing the long game. When I was 18, 19, 20, I played to get instant gratification when I should have played to get delayed gratification. And that's
Mm.
where I'm at right now.
Mm.
And what I mean by that is I drive a paid off Honda Accord. And instead, I invest tens of thousands of dollars a year into masterminds, into
Oof.
coaching programs. Right. So it's a really great investment for me because I probably would not have wrote my book if I wasn't around high
Oh,
performers.
talk
Right.
about that. How important is that for anyone, as an entrepreneur or a business owner to take steps like that and to educate and expand their brain?
I'll share a story on that. I was actually just visiting a friend and someone I do business with a few days ago. And, we were just kind of just talking business, talking shop. He's like, hey, man, just bought a new house. You want to check it out? I was like, yeah. So we're driving. He's like, man, this world is going crazy right now. He's like, I wanted to have a piece of land that I can take my kids to and just be away from society and just have my own
Yeah.
shit. He's like, come check it out. So I don't know if you've ever been to Zion National Park. It's in
No.
Utah. It's
No.
beautiful. If you Google Zion
I've
National,
only I've only been on a layover to Utah. I had some burgers over there from your famous burger shop. I forget the name. Shout out to random dude because he's like, you have to try these burgers. I was like,
yeah,
very good burgers. I missed my flight to San Diego because of those burgers.
but it was worth
As
it though,
far as
right?
it really was though. God
Yeah,
damn, those burgers are slim. Y'all know how to cook in
yeah,
Utah.
man. It's
Hold on.
Utah's an interesting place, and Zion National Park is really beautiful. So he bought this house on 3 acres, on a few
Ooh.
acres, and just beautiful house. It's on a river, and it's so
Ooh.
quaint and quiet,
Ooh.
and like you just see something like that. He's like, yeah, I just bought
That's
it
my
cash.
fantasy. That's my fantasy, bro.
Yeah, man. And like here he is just stroking checks for millions of dollars, buying it cash. And it just reminds
Cash.
you that there's other people
Wow.
that are doing it so much bigger than you are. And
Yeah.
that's why I said what I said in the video
You
that you
just messed
played.
me up. I mean, he paid for all that cash, son.
Yeah.
Wow. Paid off, Toma. I don't owe nobody nothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
East
And
Dream,
so
American
being
Dream.
around people like that, yeah, I meet a lot of them, at masterminds because you think about it, if you invest 10,000 or 20,000 into a mastermind and you meet up twice or three times a year for this mastermind, those are people that are committed, right? Like they're putting that money into their personal development. So you're around hitters, man. Like you're around people that are achieving greatness in their business life, in their personal life, their fitness, their relationships, and you just see how people operate, and it expands your mind. So I would much rather put myself in that kind of environment than drive a Tesla,
I
right?
dig
Like,
it. My
and
brother, I got to ask you something here, though. How does somebody put themselves into that mindset that they need to surround themselves with people like this? I mean, how did you do that? How did you recognize the need for that?
I want to win, right?
Hey.
And
Shout
I,
out to Colin, right? All that we do is win, win, and win.
and there's a quote that I really love is your quality of life is determined on the questions that you ask other people, because the answers you get from other people are really important, right? Like
they are.
You have to communicate and have relationships and get to the root of situations, right?
Yes, the root. That's why I ask questions like this. Sometimes I'm not trying to, be a watching chat and find out what's going on. It's like, yo, I need to reach your level too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Look at your story. Look at what you've done thus far, and there's no limit to what's coming. So it's like, shit, Daniel B.L.U. has got things in control, and I need to know, Daniel, like, for real, man, what's that map like? I need directions.
It's just trying to get better every day. I don't have it all figured out, and the beautiful part, no one has it figured out. Elon Musk, he's a billionaire. He doesn't have to figure it all out, right?
I saw a wonderful meme today that was like, he said, Elon says, I control the cryptocurrency. And then Putin, yeah, I control stock markets apparently because I made them crash today. What the hell?
We all are trying to figure out this game of life, right? Like we're all on different paths. Some of us are on a harder path than others. But at the end of the day, like our path is our path, and eventually that path's going to get harder or easier. It's just the ebbs and flows.
So how much education did you get? Any education prior to writing this book, The Blueprint to Your Best Retirement, how to access your retirement account, penalty and tax-free? Because I know, listen, bro, COVID and all, a lot of people are being hit on hard times right now, and being able to access, liquidity when it's available is absolutely important to survival. I mean, how did you even figure all this stuff out?
I got into sales, like I mentioned earlier, at 18, and I was in the real estate space, and I would talk to people and they would say, man, I just used my IRA to invest into this property. I just used my 401k to flip this house. And I thought, man,
how?
I thought a retirement account was just for stocks. So this whole concept of what's called a self-directed retirement account was introduced to me over a decade ago, where you can use your retirement account in a penalty and tax-free to do some cool stuff, like fund your business.
But no one tells you that though, right?
No, I mean, so it's a matter of you have to become self-taught and really surround yourself with a lot of good people, right? Like I'm not here today.
Apparently, brother, because I gotta tell wifey all this stuff you're teaching me today, because we're gonna get some quiz. But I'm gonna say, Daniel's about to hook us up, son. Don't worry.
It's there's people in my life that have helped me along the way that have given me a lot of knowledge. But there's information that's out there.
May I ask, those people in your life, were they entrepreneurs as well, or just life experience people?
Some of them, yeah, were entrepreneurs. Other people, like my mom, she's given me a ton of life lessons.
Always listen to your mom, guys and ladies. All right, Mama knows what's best for you because she knows your energy, because she birthed your energy.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Yeah, bro. So, dude, you're like inspiring the shit out of me. So, dude, I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you. It's like you're firing me up. The comments you say is like, it's so much truth in the things you say, bro. People, if you don't see the realness behind my man here, I mean, y'all bugging. I mean, that's the real dude. So, talk about again the book and just learning all this again. Like, I would never think about that accessing, account penalties, tax free. I mean, those are things that I learned, very later in life. So how important is that to learn early in life, and especially how you applied it to help you in your journey?
Yeah, I was on a podcast earlier today, and she asked me, like, what's some advice you would ask your younger self, or you would tell yourself?
Ooh.
And I was just like, get your money right? Like when I was younger, I didn't understand the credit game. When I was younger, I didn't understand the tax game and setting up an LLC and saving money on taxes. A lot of people, they're conditioned to think that the IRA or 401k that they have, like maybe you've been working somewhere for 10 years and you saved money up in a 401k or IRA, and you're thinking, I can't access this money penalty and tax free. Like I was told not to touch this money. Like that money is for when I'm 70 years old. Yeah. However, that's not true.
If we survive that long.
Yeah, I mean that's another story, right? But that's not true. Like there is a legitimate way for you to access your IRA or 401k now and it's penalty and tax free. And then you could use the money how you want, right?
And we can learn this on your book, right?
Yeah. So Blueprint to Your Best Retirement. You can head over to Amazon or you can go to my website, danielblue.me. The book, you can get it on Audible. So I was pretty pumped to get the book released via audio. So it's on Audible if you've got that.
Are you doing the audio?
No, man. So someone in my mastermind, he's actually a DJ. And he's got a great voice. So
you said I need you to be the voice.
Yeah. So he's really entertaining. He's got a much better voice than I do. So he's the voice.
Were you involved in that whole process of the book getting done in an audio format?
Oh yeah.
And how was that then? I mean, I'm pretty sure that was a whole new experience for you.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you, and maybe some of your listeners, people watching, listening, can learn from this. Like, there's things that you start that you don't finish, and the longer you wait, like, you're gonna have regret, and it's just costing you. It's hurting you. And that was me in my book. I started my book.
Damages your soul, folks.
Yeah, I started the book in 2019 in the summer. And I hired a professional, someone to guide me and help me. She's helped people publish books, not a ghostwriter. She's just basically teaching me what to do. So I got like 50% of it done. And then the other 50% entailed like editing and just doing a little bit more content. And I was like, I'll get back to it. I'll get to it. And then, life happened, right? COVID happened. And I'm dealing with this fire in my business and this problem comes up. And I just kept pushing it off. And then, finally last year, it got to a point where I was just like, man, like I'm missing out. Like this is costing me. It's costing my ability to help people. Like I already started it. Like, dude, just quit messing around. So I pretty much said no to everything and just focused on my book. And that's the power of focus, right? When you focus on everything, you're focused on nothing. If everything is a priority, nothing is a priority. And that's why my book didn't get done. But when I shifted that mindset, I got it done, I got it out, and I checked it off my list.
You hear this, folks? You got to get things done, man. And what type of education? Again, I mean, how many people did you speak to in the creation of this book?
So one of the masterminds that I'm in, shout out to my buddy Ryan Stewman. It's his mastermind. It's called Apex.
Shout out.
Yeah, there's about 100 of us, and we all meet in Texas once a month. And there's people that fly from New York.
Where in Texas?
Dallas.
Okay.
And just all over the country, people fly in. And every month we get together, and there's usually some speakers that talk about copywriting or writing a book or, hiring and firing, just different concepts within business. So we're there to learn, but we're also there to network. And, a lot of the people in that group are doing big things. They're speaking on stages, they have a podcast, they're writing books. So, that's where kind of what I was talking about in my video earlier is like, who are you hanging out with? Right? Like if you're hanging out with people that just go to the bar every weekend or do nothing but watch Netflix, that's probably what you're going to do. And if you're okay with that, I'm not here to tell you how to live your life, right? It's all about happiness. And if that's what makes you happy, more power to you. But I know what makes me happy is winning. And there's a recipe to winning. And I know part of winning in 2022 is having a brand, right? So I knew a book, having a podcast, putting out content is key in winning and entrepreneurship. So seeing other people in this group do that, I was able to talk to a lot of people that wrote a book and kind of shared with me what worked, what didn't work, and things like that.
Look at that. Inspirational stuff during crazy times, folks. Just keep doing you. You see what Daniel has accomplished and done thus far? And one more question for me here, though. There's something I wanted to ask you, because you were speaking about the value of relationships, right? I mean, how important really is relationships, and do you have any advice on how someone could keep relationships in a positive manner, in order to succeed in a business life?
So I read a quote that really made me smile, and Aaron Rodgers, right, quarterback of Green Bay Packers.
Hey, yeah, well, I mean, I'm a Giants fan, so a middle finger salute to the big cheese over there in Green Bay,
I
but
get it.
whatever.
Yeah, I get it. But he said something I really respected. So, like he separated from his lady. Like they broke up. And one thing he said, he's
Oh
like,
yeah, man, he was getting. Yeah, I mean, but he was getting like, wow, like, yo, Aaron Rodgers is a pimp daddy, getting some like, wow, ladies, and he's just dropping them like flies. Like people are like, dude, are you nuts?
yeah, man.
Hey, whatever, bro. I mean, he got it like that. He got the juice.
It ain't no problem for him. But one thing I respected that, or I like what he said is they parted amicably, but he's just like, man, like the relationship was so good. Like we didn't have, it was just a great relationship, and I didn't have to worry about my personal life when I came to business. And he's like, I won two MVPs the last couple of years, right? Like he's back-to-back MVPs. He's like, it's not a secret that I performed at the highest level and I won two MVPs back to back in the 2 years I was with her. And like that's so true. Like think about when you fight with your lady, you fight with your man, you fight with your best friend, and then you got to go to work. Like that shit sucks, right?
It does, man, because you have this bad energy, this carrying heavily on your soul and your spirit. And I'm one of those that in the morning, the last thing I need to hear is negative shit, because I'm one of those souls that carry that during the day. Then it's like I think about it too much. And so I tell wifey, please make sure that when because I go to bed first, because I wake up way earlier than her for work. I'm like, yo, please make sure you change the channel to something entertaining, so when I turn it on, I'm not watching news. That's the last thing I want to watch in the morning, because like even for an example today, she forgot to do that. I'm hearing about murders and war and all this stuff. I mean, that's not a way to start a day.
For sure. And, when there's been scientific studies before you go to bed and when you wake up, like you're the most vulnerable, like what you put in, what you absorb in your mind, like your subconscious is real, right? Like when you dream, like there's times where you probably, have a fight or something happens, you watch a movie at night, then you go to bed and you dream about it, right? Like it's the same concept. So, you're definitely right on the energy. But like for people that are in a relationship, like for me, I spend a lot of time with my wife, right? So I know one of my weaknesses is I don't always see things through her lens. I've been with her for 10 years.
Well, that's us as men at some of the times, because we're skewed in our views, and it's an opposite sex thing, and maybe we're not in tune energy wise. I mean, you say 10 years, my brother. I've been in this over 20 plus. I
need to be hitting you up. who I do hit up, and this goes into having a strong mental health plan, is I'm a big proponent of therapy, right? So like, I see a therapist once a month. She's awesome. I
specifically wow. You're touching on something else there, brother, for real. Because again, after 20 years plus, there's things and growth and, just things within a relationship that people need to deal with, right? Yeah. When did you realize that you wanted to take therapy? Was there a specific moment in your life that you said, damn, maybe I could do better and I need to talk to someone?
Yeah, man. There was just more tension with my wife than there ever had been. And I think it's natural because we change, right? When I got with her 10 years ago, I was different. She was different. 5 years ago, I was different. She was different. You want change, right? Like, I don't want her to be the same person. I want her to grow. Same for me. So there just was a point where there was just more tension than we've ever had, and like we've got a great relationship. So
and you don't want that, especially with somebody that you love and admire. I mean, I say this kiddingly to wifey sometimes. I'm like, damn, are you telling me that I should have been working on this while I was single before I met you? So that way, I could have just made it and then we could be okay? Because unfortunately, sometimes when you're in the entrepreneurial journey, it just takes up the time on your personal journey.
Amen. You got to make sure that, the people around you know what you're doing and they support you. And you also have to support, your partner as well. So, I made that decision. It's been great, man. It's great to just get unbiased feedback, whether you're in a relationship or not, whether you have a business or not. Like there's just a lot of power in getting vulnerable with someone that doesn't know you. and they can just be, talking to you where they're not biased, right? Like your mom's always going to say like, "I'm hijo, you're the best. I love you."
Oh, of course, that's mommy. She's always
Yeah.
gonna be your cheerleader, but then you gotta go to your best friend, like, homie, tell me the truth.
And they're probably going to sugarcoat things, like,
Of course, they're gonna frost and flake it, but I need somebody to give me the special K. No sugar, no nothing. Give me the flakes, yo.
Very true. Very, very true. So, I think that's
talking
one
cereal apparently. No, but Daniel, you are amazing. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You're firing me up, bro, because you're hitting. You're making me think of so many different things just on the journey. As an entrepreneur, being a married man, being a father, just being in the game for a minute and trying to build things, and seeing you. I mean, yo, brother, God bless you. I mean, here you are growing up in a single family home for after 12, and yet following this path, doing what you're doing, building a beautiful family, and building an empire. I mean, for real. So, one of my last questions that I'm gonna have to ask, and this is something basic because you have one of the most dopest uh what was it, press packets that I've seen. I love it. You're real with links and all, folks. If you want to know how to do this, you better have him for an interview. When he's saying this press packet, you're like, oh, that's how you do it. Yeah. That's right. So last one here. I'm a business person, right? And sometimes I need money. Now, one of the things that I know that you like to talk about is funding without the banks. Question here is for any entrepreneur that's listening that maybe may have not the best credit and all. How can we achieve something like that?
Yeah, so it's money that you might not even consider, and it could be a 401k from an old job where you worked there for 8 years and then you left that job, went somewhere else, and you kind of forgot about that account, right? So basically, again, back to the point earlier, if you have a retirement account, you're probably not paying attention to it a whole lot. It's like out of sight, out of mind. Maybe you get statements in the mail once a year. You probably
once a year, then you forget.
Yeah, for sure.
Real.
And then you're thinking, well, I can't even access it even if I wanted to, but if I could, I'm going to lose 30% in penalties and taxes. So, what we teach people how to do is how they can actually use that money and take it out penalty and tax free. And there's no credit check with this. Like there's no income verification, and you could use the money however you want. Maybe you need it to pay off some high interest rate credit card debt, or you want to use it to fund your business. That's a real big thing that's happening right now. More and more people are starting companies, starting a side hustle, starting a business. What do businesses need? They need capital, right? So a lot of new businesses have issues getting capital because the banks aren't wanting to lend them money because they're a new business. They don't have a track record. So it's nice to have another option to use a retirement account in a penalty and tax-free way to benefit you.
And how do they even begin to inquire with whomever their provider is, to get access to that money?
Well, the problem is it's probably in the wrong account. So like, for example, if the money's in a 401k with your old job, or your money is in an IRA, you're probably not able to take that money out penalty and tax-free because it's in the wrong vehicle. But what you could do if you qualify is you can take that money and convert it into what's called a solo 401k. And a solo 401k is a retirement account designed by the IRS for an entrepreneur. And that's why I use the word qualify. Like you have to qualify for a solo 401k.
Oh my gosh. What is the number of this form so that way people could start digging in, especially entrepreneurs?
Yeah, it's basically finding a company that can open up a solo 401k for you. And if you Google solo 401k, you'll see that this is an IRS approved legitimate account. Really? My company isn't the only one that offers it.
So why do people not offer this? Why am I hearing this for the first time? I've heard of 401ks, but I've never, until this day, I was this years old when I learned what the 401k is.
Yeah, ultimately it's follow the money. Right? You've heard of that before, right?
Yeah,
follow the money. And a solo 401k allows you to access your own retirement account money penalty and tax free. Well, who controls retirement accounts? Wall Street, right? Fidelity, Vanguard, TD Ameritrade, right? Edward Jones. Like these are all $1 billion Wall Street companies. I think that Fidelity has over $1 trillion, I think. If I remember correctly. Like massive amounts of money. All of that money they make fees off of. The more money they control, the more fees that they generate, right? The more money they make.
Money made money.
Teach you how to access your own retirement account, penalty and tax free, and use that money to start an online business or use that money to start another kind of business.
How dare you try to make yourself some money?
Exactly. It doesn't make them money.
This is so crazy. You've been giving me some points, blueprint to the best retirement, how to access your retirement account, penalty and tax free. It's on Kindle, Amazon, folks. I need you guys to follow Daniel on LinkedIn and Facebook at Daniel B.L.U. I need you guys to visit Daniel's website, Daniel B.L.U. Like the color, folks. Very simple. I mean, homie's been great. So, last question here, my brother. Like, what's the greatest piece of advice you can give somebody, just in general? Like somebody that's down and out, feeling blue about themselves, no pun intended, and they come, hey, Dan, how can I improve my life? Well, what is something that you would say to them?
I'm reading a really good book right now. It's Will Smith. Have you read that book? It's his autobiography.
No, the last book I read was 50 Cent's Hustle Smart, Hustle Harder, and I love that
book. That's a good one. You'll
gangster.
You'll love Will Smith's book.
Really? What's the name of it? I'm writing it down.
It's called Will.
Bet.
And it's in his own voice.
I'm going to email you after I read it. I don't listen to books. I read them. I'm going to read it and let you know.
It is one of the best books I've read. And
really?
A quote he gives in the book that I'm going to use to answer your question is, he says, in life, school is like, life is like school, right? The difference is in school, you take the lesson first, right? You get the lesson from the teacher. You're being taught. And then they give you the test, right? So you go in being prepared to take the test. In life, it's the opposite. You're immediately tested. You're immediately having to take the test, whether you're ready or not. And then it's up to you to learn the lesson. So right now you're in a funk. You're not doing the best. Maybe you're not winning. You're in this losing streak. Bad shit's happened to you. What's the lesson, right? Like there's a lesson in there. And a lot of the times that lesson is, dude, I'm grateful because of this. I'm grateful because this happened or this didn't happen. And it's easy to fall into a victim mentality. But as soon as you start looking for lessons and you start finding that gratitude, then it's easier to look past the bad stuff that's going on, the funk, and just realize that, there's better days ahead. But ultimately, if you don't change your mindset, that funk is going to keep being a funk.
Oh, my brother, isn't that the truth? I mean, it is all a mental game within us. It's our own mental war, if you will, that we need to defeat. It's going to be one battle at a time. We may not win the war, but if we win one mental battle at a time, then we're making sure that we are not self-defeating, that we keep fighting the good fight. You know what I mean? Because like I said before, inner monologue is evil. Don't listen to your inner monologue. Please don't.
Amen.
And I deal with that a lot. That's part of my personal mental health issue, where sometimes I could wake up in the morning and I'm dealing with an inner monologue, and like I try to blank it out as the best I can. But you know what I mean? Eventually I have to face it and discuss it. Maybe, have this, surreal metal world where Omega is facing Alexander Perez and I'm having a discussion. You know what I mean? With myself.
We have them every day, right?
It is.
Yeah, one of the people I like to follow, he's like, dude, you got a bitch voice and you got a boss voice. You wake up in the morning and you need to go to the gym. Your bitch
Alexander is the bitch. Omega is the boss on this motherfucker.
We all have it.
I'll tell you that.
We all have it.
Yeah. At least I named them.
Yeah. And which
I know it for a fact,
Yeah. And which voice are you going to let influence you the most, right? That's going to.
Well, Mega's always going to win. I love Mega.
Yeah.
Perez not so much, but I love Mega. Perez could do better. Come on, Mega. All right. So, but with that though, you've been an amazing guest. You've been empowering me, folks. I want to share this once again. I need you to visit Daniel's website at danielblue.me. That's right, folks. M-E, me. Feel me? Check it out. Great stuff. Great tips. Follow him on LinkedIn and Facebook as well. He kept the praise of everything he's doing because there's a man that's on a journey to help entrepreneurs, help people find a better version of themselves, help people deal with things, and he's been through his journey, and I'm totally impressed by you. I hope my brother's listening, brother of mine listening too, that went through a similar journey. He's way better now, and I think he would be so inspired by what you've done. But folks, go to Amazon right now. I know y'all got a Kindle account. Don't play around. Blueprint to Your Best Retirement: How to Access Your Retirement Account Penalty and Tax-Free Kindle edition. So imagine that you're able to empower and build your business using your retirement account and not even getting hit because you're building something of value. So if you have any more questions, please visit the website, danielblue.me. I'm pretty sure he has an email there. Hit him up, ask him questions. He provides services as well. So him and his company are there to help you in the journey. So with that, Daniel, thank you again. Much love to you. God bless, bro. Thank you for sharing your story and your journey. Truly inspiring. I can't wait to see what else we got coming from the world of Azul. Wepa! You gotta do it all Latino now. Come on now. So with that, please make sure to visit me again when you come out with your next hit book. That's gonna be on Barnes and Nobles, New York Times, and everything. I know. All right.
Much love, brother. I appreciate you having me on your show, and shout out to your brother making it on the other side. That makes me happy, puts a smile on my face, and it's a great time with you here today, bro.
Man. Listen, but that's what we do. We as Latinos, as PR, as Americans, we're always fighting the good fight, and if you have good people around you, you have people that care, you're always gonna come up on top, on the real. But you have to not be afraid to talk, not be afraid to share, and not be afraid to be real with the people you love. Ain't that true?
Amen, brother. Amen.
So with that, I'm out, Mega, with the amazing Daniel Blue. You know what to do next, all right? The author tells you it all. Hasta la próxima, mi gente. Much love. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.